Today, we're going to play detective. We're diving into the financial records of a company called BSEL Infrastructure Realty. And trust me, between 2018 and 2020, its numbers tell one heck of a story. A real roller coaster of shifting fortunes. Our mission? To uncover exactly what happened. So, you ever look at a company's financial report and just see a wall of numbers? Well, what if I told you there's a story hidden in there? It's not just a collection of boring figures, it's a narrative, really. A mystery just waiting for us to solve. So for the next few minutes, let's put on our detective hats and piece together the clues. Here's our game plan. First, we'll decode the report. Then, we'll look at a pretty good year, 2018. After that, we'll see the dramatic turn in 2019, investigate the expenses for clues, and wrap it all up with a final tally. Sound good? Let's get into it. All right, first up, decoding the report. You know, the best way to think about a financial statement is it's like a health checkup for a business. It tells you exactly how it's doing, where its money is going, and if it's in good shape or, well, not so good shape. Now, when you first look at the raw data, it can be a little much. I mean, it's a sea of tags, codes, and numbers. It looks super dense and complicated, but we're about to cut right through all that noise. Because here's the secret. All of that complexity, all that jargon, you can simplify it. It really just boils down to answering three super simple questions about the business. First, how much money came in the door? That's your revenue. Second, how much did it cost them to run the business? Those are the expenses. And third, what was actually left over when all was said and done? That's the bottom line, your profit or your loss. These are the three clues we're going to be tracking. Okay, detective tools in hand, let's move on to our second chapter, a picture of profit. We're turning back the clock to 2018, a time when, honestly, the company's financial health looked pretty solid. Our story kicks off in the first quarter of 2018 for the period ending on June 30th. So what did that bottom line look like? A profit of 1.4 crore rupees, that's about 14 million rupees. A very strong positive start. So this sets our baseline, right? We're looking at a company that is comfortably making money. Now, let's jump forward a couple of quarters to the end of that same year, December 31st, 2018. Was the trend still holding up? Oh yeah, it was. Another profitable quarter, this time bringing in 1.7 crore rupees. So the story of 2018 is clear, stability and profit. But, as we all know, stories can change, and they can change very, very quickly. And that brings us to Chapter 3, the dramatic turn. The calendar flips over to 2019, and the whole story is about to get turned completely upside down. So what on earth happened? We've landed in the first quarter of 2019. And this is the exact moment where everything changes. Let's go back to that first key question we talked about, revenue. How much did they make? Zero. For the whole quarter, the company brought in absolutely zero revenue from its main business. That is a massive red flag. I mean, if no money is coming in from what you're supposed to be doing, what does that do to your bottom line? It leads to a pretty significant loss. -2 crore rupees. In just a few months, this company swung from a healthy profit to a major loss. This isn't just a small dip. This is a nosedive. Okay, let's keep the investigation going. We move into the very next quarter, ending September 30th, 2019. Did they manage to turn things around? No. In fact, it got so much worse. The losses more than doubled to -4.5 crore rupees. The situation is deteriorating, and it's deteriorating fast. With revenue still at zero, the expenses are clearly out of control. So what exactly are those expenses? This is where our detective work gets really fun. Section 4, investigating the expenses. If we can dig into where the money was going out, we might find some real clues about what was happening behind the scenes. Okay, check this out. This chart breaks down a category they call other expenses from that disastrous second quarter of 2019. Now sure, a big piece is for conveyance and transportation, but look at that next biggest slice. 38%, almost 48 lakh rupees, was for fines from the Bombay and National Stock Exchanges. Think about that. These are regulatory penalties. This isn't a normal cost of doing business. It's a sign that there were some serious operational or compliance issues. This is a huge clue. And now for our final chapter, the final tally. It's time to zoom out, take a bird's eye view, and see the full impact of all these changes over the entire 2-year story. This bar chart really puts everything into perspective, doesn't it? In the financial year for 2018, the company had a modest profit of 54 lakhs. By the end of fiscal 2019, that had totally cratered to an estimated loss of 2.7 crore. And then look at fiscal 2020, the losses just ballooned to a staggering 6.5 crore rupees. The visual story here is just undeniable. So let's just quickly recap what we found out. We saw a company's health change dramatically, going from profit to a major loss in under 2 years. We saw their main source of revenue completely collapse to zero. We even found specific clues, like those big regulatory fines hiding in the expenses. And I think the most important takeaway is this. Financial reports aren't just numbers. They tell a real, compelling story about a company's journey. But you have to remember, a financial report is just a snapshot. It's a single chapter in a story that's still being written, which of course leaves us with one final crucial question. What will the next chapter reveal? Is it a story of a comeback or something else entirely? The numbers will have the answer.